go. Hey, everybody. This is the 4E Podcast, and I'm Shareen Clark, and I have
BC in the place to be.
All right, BC is in the house. So 4E Podcast stands for education,
Entertainment,
empowerment,
and enlightenment.
All right. So we just want to throw it out there for you guys, and we're going to have people come in, and we're going to invite you, and you know what? Send us a message if you want to come on. We got you. So tonight, we have our special guest here. We have Malinda Royal, and she's here because this is part of Women's Month, and you know the month is almost out, but we wanted to have someone to come in and join in with us, so she's here on tonight, so we're excited about that.
Very excited.
You excited, Brian?
I'm so excited.
Awesome. So we're going to have a good time. So we're going to be on for about an hour or so. And so we just want to entertain you tonight with that. So Malinda Royal, how you feeling today?
I'm good. How are you? Hi, everybody.
Awesome. So we're going to be here. We're going to ask her some questions, and she's going to give us a little snippet of something of her choice on tonight. So hopefully you enjoy our podcast, and hey, we're here.
Yeah, we are here. And as Lady Shareen said, this is the end of Ladies Month. So we're celebrating all you women out there, whether you're a single woman, whether you're a married woman, or whether you're just out there doing your thing. Like, Linda, you out there doing your thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you are. Come on, don't be shy. You know, I asked before all the guests come on that they actually send a little bio of what they've been up to and what they've been doing. So, Lady Shareen, why don't you go ahead? Let's go right in. Let's go on.
Let's go right in. So, you know what? Before I go right in, though, I just want to let people know that, you know, we do understand that COVID is real. And, you know, anytime we do something like this, we make sure, you know, that we have done what we needed to do, whether it's hand sanitizing, we have Lysol here, you know, we come in with masks, and we make sure that, you know, we've done the protocol. So, and, you know, when we ask you if you want to be on the show, you don't have to come in. You know, we could do Zoom with you, but, you know, Brian and I, and also Malinda, we've been working together the whole time. So, you know, we just wanted to throw it out there and let you guys know, just in case you're thinking about it or saying anything. So here we go. Yeah. So Malinda, she's on tonight. So Malinda, I've been knowing Malinda for a very, very long time.
Entire life.
Yeah, she said her entire life, and actually that is true. So I've known Malinda, and I am like so happy for Malinda, and you know the accomplishments that you know she have, and just being who she is, you know, with her authentic self.
Wow. Yeah.
So Malinda, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm 32 years old. I'm a single mom. I have 3 amazing kids.
Yes.
My oldest is 11, Darian. He's a musician. I call him. He's gonna be all around. He's a musician, but he likes to produce music. He likes to put music together. The middle one is the jack of all trades. He's the rapper.
Okay.
He is
For real.
the percussionist. He's a pianist. He's an organist. Most of all, I call him Steph Curry, but I also call him Master P.
Oh, wow.
But ultimately, he wants to be a basketball player. That's Davon. He's 10, and then there's Mackenzie. The mic drop, literally. She just is. She dances, she flips, she can sing. She's a character.
She really is.
But that's me. I sing a little bit. Well, I've been singing all of my life. Well, not all of my life, but really since I was 11. It didn't really sound good until I was about like 14, 16. But yeah, I sing. I work in ministry at my church.
Okay.
I love being like, you know, help to not just older people, but just a help period. Because I guess you see a meme all the time and it says, be who you would need other people to be. And I don't need any accolades or anything. I just like to be there for people.
Okay.
It's like loving like Jesus. To be like Jesus, oh, how I want to be like him.
Okay.
So yeah, I aspired to be a nurse.
Awesome.
That was my 5-year goal. when I was 30, but I still want to be a nurse. I cook, I bake, and that's just me. I work in ministry and I go to church with Shareen, Church of the Living God. Hey guys.
Yes.
And I just aspire. I just aspire to do more because I have kids who want to do more. So I can't inspire them to do more if I don't do more.
Okay.
Because if not, they'll just succumb to what they see, and that's just not okay with me. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
I'm not gonna talk about myself.
Right.
Can I
So-
chime in real quick?
Sure, chime in.
In reference to your young African American males, I know there's a lot going on. If
Yes.
you staying current with the news, there's the trial going on right now. So how do you keep your kids away from the fray of just being positive, young African American males who, at this particular time in society, you know, there's almost like there's a target on African American males. So how do you keep them close to you? How do you keep them engaged? How do you make sure that they're safe? You know, and this is for any parent out there that's actually
Right.
raising children, especially young African American
Yeah,
males.
that's true.
Honestly, I will say our faith is important, but I also know as a black person, just a person period, we have to be relevant and you have to be informed. So I first have to be informed, but I try to be very real with them.
Okay.
So with my boys, most importantly, I always say, you know, little black boy in America, because I'll tell them it's a big responsibility for you to always have to think before you act.
Wow.
But it doesn't matter who you're with. They're going to see little black boy in America. You're always going to be a threat. You may not be making the bad choice. The person whom you may be with may be making the bad choice. But think about the consequence you're going to encounter, because you. And I'm sorry, at this age, you have to double think everything you do, everything you say. And I tell them if they do something that does that make sense? And they say no. Why are you doing it? Because
Right.
I want to drill in their heads. If it has no purpose, if it doesn't make sense, then you should not be doing it.
Absolutely.
And again, it's a lot of responsibility to put on children, but we have to be transparent enough. Like, I want them not to see color, but I can't be so naive, like, you know, listen, you may fall in love with the Caucasian woman, but I want you to understand her father is first going to see you as a black man before he knows that you're educated and you have a lot to offer. But I want you to be confident to know that you are somebody. And I think that's what we have to instill at home. Like, you are somebody. You will make a difference in this world, because I didn't just have you to blend in. No, you're going to make a difference, but what kind of difference you make is most important.
And you
This is
spoke
true.
something about where I think the podcast, and Lady Shareen can definitely chime in on this, we definitely look at education as being one of our cornerstones.
Yes.
So how do you encourage them and let them know that education is important? And then after that, I want Shareen to just jump in, because I'm pretty sure Lady Shareen, she has some questions that she has to ask you in reference to your daughter, and how do you keep her motivated?
Yes.
So I'm gonna step right off and let you answer that.
Education. It's funny because we talk about this all the time.
Mhm.
We live in a society where YouTube and social media make these children of the generation under us and our generation crazy enough to believe that because you have 100,000 subscribers, you're getting a check. So it
Right.
makes these children think that they're going to have an overnight success. They're not going to have to work for anything. So that's my biggest challenge. And I tell them I'm not their mother, and just one like and share. I'm not going to say it's not going to change your entire life, but you're going to have to be the individual that's going to have to work for something, because you have to work for something to keep something. So if you don't go to school, you're past the 5th grade. Okay, what you can't read, you can't write. Okay, you're just going to be a successful dummy. Is that what you want? You want somebody else running your company? No. So if you want to be successful, education is important. I don't care what you think, how you feel. Education, it's like salvation. It is the foundation.
Wow.
It's the foundation for you to go anywhere.
I hear you.
And you can't go anywhere without it. And with my daughter, and I also believe raising kids as a single parent and not as a single parent, you have to have community.
That's right.
You have to have a good community, and I'm very, very adamant about I guess I'm trying not to coddle my kids so much anymore, like try to keep them covered, and because you can't shield, and we have some real life situations going on in my life, so I have to be transparent and I have to be real with them, because the situation, it's so private but it's so public. So I would much rather try to shape what's right and have them around people who they can see, they have tangible touch with people who not only have been places where they would like to go, but also can bring them around places that can help them to aspire and feed what they're passionate about.
Lady Shareen has a follow-up to that question.
So, and just to interject, I definitely know Malinda's children. You know, they're very smart.
Okay.
And you know, the things that they do and say, it's amazing. It's so amazing. You know, and they're smart children. You know, but you know, they're busy, but they're sweet as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're sweet children. You know, and my little Miss Mackenzie.
Oh, you get ready to go on
You
to
know,
the door now,
yeah, you know,
Talk about little Mrs. Mackenzie.
This is an experience.
It's a lot to talk about with Mackenzie, you know, and I often look at Malinda or say, Malinda, what are you going to do with her? You know, what are you going to do with her? But, you know, she's sweet. And all three of her children are very, very talented. Very talented. So, you know, yeah, so what are you going to do with Mackenzie?
I mean, and I feel so ashamed to say this, and as much as I tell my kids to stay off of social media, like, I'm trying to market their lives, you know, trying to build them up. Like, so listen, we can make, they love the Prince family, they love watching these certain channels. So I'm like, if you let me help you, we can make it there. But they have a life of their own. Mackenzie makes her own videos. She doesn't post them. She makes her own videos.
She does.
She edits. They all edit, which is phenomenal. We were learning this stuff in middle school. Remember Maxine?
Absolutely.
We were in. What am I gonna do with them?
Yeah.
I have to be informed. Like, I have to educate, or I have to network and be connected with people who can, like, you know, feed me what I can do. Because if I'm smart and I be wise about this, we will be very wealthy because of these children.
No,
very wealthy.
She's really
and I'm working on, so they understand, like, why are you live? Do you have something to say? Are you encouraging somebody, or are we just you putting on, look at your little brown face? You know, so it's like, okay, you can be famous, but you have to be impactful. Like, and I told them, what you're going through as children, it's heartbreaking. I know it's not fair, but you would be surprised as the days come along, the people that you are going to encounter, that your story is going to inspire, even as children.
But I think that just what you're saying, that we people often look at how much money they have in their bank account, what kind of car do they drive, what kind of sneakers do they have on, how many purses do they have. It sounds like in your life that the riches of your children are your inheritance.
Absolutely.
And that you're going to be blessed, whether they become doctors, lawyers, singers, musicians, that you're just going to be blessed because of what they're giving back to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is true.
Absolutely.
This is very true. You know, like, again, you know, I can attest, you know, because they love to come to the house.
Wow.
You know, I mean, we can tell you so many different stories. You know, yesterday, after, you know, we went and got something to eat after church, and Mackenzie, and I didn't notice till after, but Mackenzie got inside of my sister's car, and they didn't even know it. So she snuck inside the car, and so they're going down, and another person that was with my sister, she said, "What are you doing in here?"
Wow.
And so my sister was like, "Mackenzie, why are you here?" So, I mean, you know, it's just the little things that they do, you know, but the thing about it is we know how we are with each other, you know, so that happens, but we know, you know, we know to call, we know to say, hey, tell your mom before, you know, you come with us and stuff like that, you know, that village.
Yeah.
You know, it's the village, and a lot of kids today don't have the village. But, you know, we're so connected to where we make sure that, these kids have a village, you know, and we connect, you know, and they come over, you know, and they want to come over, you know, we do things with them, you know, and it's not just them, you know, it's other young people too, but it's just that her children has really gravitated,
All three of them.
you know, to
They're my kids are their kids. All three of my kids
Basically.
have been raised in the house.
Yeah.
All Mackenzie even told us last year, she wanted to wear something, and me and Kanisha was on the couch, and she was like, "Oh, I have to act Lucy. She's the boss of me."
Wow.
That because she knows, you know, it's not okay. You know, it's like, you know, it's a community here.
So what does it mean to you as being an African American woman raising 3 young children and the community? You kind of spoke about the community, but you know, in our podcast we talk about education, we talk about entertainment, we talk about enlightenment and empowerment. So I know that that's right in line with how you're raising your children. Can you just speak to any one of those 4 E's? Because that's what this podcast is about. And you're coming on here will let other women know that, you know, sometimes you don't even look at what your children are observing in you.
Yeah.
Right.
But obviously the seed hasn't fallen too far from the tree.
Not at all.
Because you can sing and every one of your children can sing. I was sharing with Lady Shareen earlier, real quickly, that my daughter can sing. Now, I can't sing, you know. When I was coming up, DJing was the big thing, you know. But I didn't receive the blessing that my mother had and that my uncle had. Because my mother and my uncle could sing. I mean, really, my mother had an angel-like voice, but she never used it. My daughter has a voice that, you know, sometimes they say skip a generation.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
your case, you like reeled it in, and you got 3 children that can sing and play instruments.
Yeah.
So, can you talk a little bit about how the 4 E's that we talk about, and you don't have to, you know, use all of them. Just talk about, you know, talk about education, talk about entertainment, talk about empowerment, whatever one you want to talk about, or enlightenment, how that has helped you in raising your kids become who they are.
Well, first I had to be enlightened. And I had to be enlightened in a way, like, to be informed, like, because raising children alone, multiple kids, especially in this society, it can really beat you down if you let it. So when I think of enlightened, I have to be enlightened. You know, like the Bible says, greater is he that is in me. And that's one scripture my kids, we say every morning, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Because I cannot manage on my own strength. So I have to be enlightened and continually renew my mind every day to know that, listen, it's hard, but there's a greater power inside of you that you have to tap in. So it's always can be what I see, or I can go by on the facts of what I know. That the strength of God has kept me, and no matter how strong the waves may get, He's going to carry me. Education as a parent, I think it's important to be educated, and even if you don't 4 years completely, like, you know, go the whole way to educate yourself. Educating yourself is reading a book every few weeks. You know, listening to podcasts, YouTube, learning something to sharpen your mind, and even if it's new recipes and just going someplace, it's just resharpening your mind. My mom used to say it's a muscle. So you have to use that muscle, or you'll just be like an old record. I mean, we can just keep moving the needle from song to song, but that'll be all it is to you. In education, what is it? Enlightenment?
Empowerment.
And be empowered. Like my kids, I can't be like down for too long, because they won't let you. As much as you want to be upset, be annoyed, kids, I will say, know more than we tell them.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they're very sensitive to what we feel.
Yes.
And I've learned within the last few months, they will tap into that, and they will try to encourage that, and they try to cheer you up. They try to cook for you. I don't know, you know, my kids are wonderful cooks.
They're wonderful cooks too?
No.
You know,
Mackenzie does make good eggs. They cook good. all good things.
She loves eggs.
But
she loves eggs.
yeah, to that mother, that father, that grandparent, that uncle, aunt that's raising kids, be encouraged, because I don't know what higher power you believe in, but I believe in God, and He is the cornerstone and the foundation of my life. I could not take any credit from Him, because who I am and what I am right now, to have endured what I have endured, a failed marriage, a public embarrassment, and just failures of life, mismanaging money, but how God will restore you.
Wow.
It's like, whoa, it's mind blowing, but you have to trust Him. But it's like you have to educate yourself. Like, you have to know that God loves you. You have to know that how He feels about you is crazy. You can't live under condemnation. And I'm currently reading a book. You have to get out of your own head.
Right.
You have to convince yourself of everything negative that you allow yourself to think. And even if it's nothing that you've ever seen. So that's where I'm at. I'm trying to do things that I've never seen. Doesn't mean that it's not impossible, but we can convince ourselves to stay in this box because it's comfortable, but we don't pay attention to the seasons that are changing and that are coming, and we just feel confined and we feel like it's anxiety, but it's because the box is too small. So you can either stay there or you can bust out of it and take a step.
Well, you said something that's very key, and I think that for young ladies going through it, for whatever reason, that you have persevered, because you knew that survival of the fittest was very important to you, and the survival and the well-being of your children.
Absolutely.
And that you instill in them every single day, no matter what is going on in the outside world, I got you.
Yeah, that's right.
That's powerful.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Lady Shareen, you want to speak?
That's definitely powerful, and not to compare, but I understand what Malinda is saying. Because actually, we actually do have similar testimonies and similar stories. With raising children. As a single parent. And we didn't start off that way.
Wow.
So I understand exactly where she's coming from. We've had conversations. Because it's hard. It's hard. It's frustrating. And it gets to the point where you want to just pull your hair out, because you get tired of doing everything by yourself.
Yeah.
But that something. I got to pick things up. I got to keep it moving, and I have to do this. If not for me, but for the kids.
Well, I'm an African American man, so it is very important, because I don't think that either of the young ladies speaking to you tonight are saying to you that the father didn't do or couldn't do or shouldn't do or wouldn't do. But what they're saying is that regardless of what happens between a marriage or between a relationship, that a lot of times historically, we are in Women's Month, historically, and males, if you want to bash me, you can bash me, but historically the female has been the cornerstone to why families persevere and keep going forward. So, but I don't want to discount the fact that it is important to have the male figures of the children involved. Can you speak a little bit to that? Just a little bit for the listener audience? Because I don't want the audience to think that there's any,
No.
If you watch certain things on TV.
We love our kings. We love our kings. We can't discount, or discredit.
I want to make sure
because I definitely believe that there are some good men out here. And because my dad, he did not have his father growing up. But, he is a great dad.
Yes, he is.
So, and he doesn't mind, accepting who we bring to the house.
That's right.
So there are some good men out here. I do believe that, and they are our kings, and so we don't mind getting behind them, on the side of them, and being their helpmeet. But, it's just, you just fall in situations and, it comes, but we definitely, know that, no, we need them.
Yeah.
Children need them.
Just from a male perspective, I want them to understand what's being said
absolutely.
here. Because
Totally.
sometimes people misinterpret what's being said.
That's it. You gotta make it plain.
You're saying that you're raising your kids, but if their fathers are important and they want to be involved, they are involved, and they can do what they need to do for their children.
I mean, yeah, but if they aren't, I mean, just for those who are going to be honest, if they aren't, it's important to have a community of men that in the community.
Right.
So where, like, you know, I don't care what my children's father does, excuse me, but, you know, if it's contrary to what my standards are, you know, I say, you know, okay, do you see my uncles do that?
Yeah.
Right.
Do you see my brothers do that? Do you see do you see Pop do that?
Okay.
Because that's the image that I want them to see.
Right.
A man of integrity, a man whose name is good. I want you to know, I don't care what you see, your last name is Royal. You are a royal. You're a Black American child.
And there's no play on that word royal.
No.
You are truly royal.
You
are a king.
Thank you, my dad. Yes.
Or you are a queen.
Yes.
Okay.
And you have to, and first of all, you weren't born like, and they say, oh, my friends have this and that. Well, I'm not your friend's mother, and I tell them your friends have every game system. No offense to other moms who have to work, okay, but is their mom cooking them dinner every night? Okay. What you may not have materialistic things, but you have a lot of love. You have tangibility and access to things that people don't. You have experience and you have knowledge that other people don't have reach to. So because you have that, you too much is given, much is required. So I try to keep in the forefront, and being a single parent, period, single person, when you have to be in community with people, but you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable, because there's a level of accountability that has to be had between you. So that also requires trust. So if we're in a community, I have to trust you enough to know that if you see me slacking or me doing something that's not effective to where my future is going to take me, you're going to call me out on that, whether that's a person, as a mother, as an individual, and you have to be accepting of that to change.
That's it.
Because if you can stay in a circle, and if this circle is just fine for you, you're just going to be in that circle. So you have to let people in from other walks of life and experiences with the same level of standard and integrity that you have, that's going to enlighten, enrich, and educate you. Like, hey, this isn't cool. Absolutely. And show you a better way. And you can't fight those people, because if you fight them, then, you know, you're not going to change. You're going to make an excuse to stay the same. I'm all about accountability.
Wow.
Absolutely. That's some good stuff. But I just want to take a break real quick. I don't know if anybody's watching, but this is the 4 East podcast, and we're coming live tonight. This is our first live that we're doing.
Wow.
And so this is Brian Cox. I'm Shareen Clark, and this is Malinda Royal. And we're talking about education, we're talking about empowerment, we're talking about entertainment, and we're talking about, did I say enlightenment? There we go, enlightenment. So thank you for joining. If you're watching, thank you. Give us some likes, some shares, some stars, some hearts. And you know what? Comment. Let us know if you like it. If you don't, comment. And let us know if you want to see some things or hear some, things that you want to hear about, talk about. So,
And this is a good opportunity. We already have 3 or 4 guests that are going to be coming to us. We have a doctor that recently received his doctorate degree, and then we have an individual that has helped inspire people to write, including Lady Shareen.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And then we also have some other individuals that are going to be coming in. And listen, we're open. We're open to you. Our podcast is about bringing people in and enlightening them about what's going on around them. Mm-hmm. And with that being said, can we get a little song?
Ooh.
I didn't know I was going to put you on the spot. You didn't think I was going to let you get out of here without singing something. You said you can sing. Don't y'all want to hear that if she can sing out there? Don't y'all want to hear? Yeah, put a little bit of something on now. It could be whatever you want.
Okay.
Whatever you want. If you need a few seconds.
We're good.
We good?
She always has songs.
Okay,
she stay ready.
Okay. This has been my song for the last few months. All my life you have been faithful.
Sing, Malinda. Yes.
And all my life you have been so good. Mm-hmm. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of your goodness, of God. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. Oh, and all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good.
Yes,
With
yes.
every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Oh, I will sing of your goodness,
Yes.
my God. Oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God.
Wow.
Yes, amazing, amazing. I love hearing Malinda sing. You know,
I
and
love hearing her
I
sing.
get the privilege to hear her every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Wow.
Yes, yes. Just graces us. with
You
her.
said it earlier. Too much who's given, much is required. So
Absolutely.
you have gifts.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
the gifts that we have inside of us, we need to share them with the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that you came on our podcast. And you're our first guest on our
First
podcast.
one. First.
So when we get up to our 30s and 40s and 50 episodes, we're gonna have to bring you back in here. We're gonna have to maybe have a band behind you.
Absolutely.
You know, when COVID gets behind us,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
have a band behind
Listen, seriously,
you. Mm-hmm.
her son, Darian, he plays the drums. He's bad.
Bad?
He's bad.
Not as bad as being bad, but as bad as being good.
It's like in his bones. It's in
Listen,
his bones.
listen. He was a baby.
He
He
won.
was a little kid. He would just be like on his chest. Like we were like, stop hitting your chest. He would do it in his sleep.
Yes.
The boy would do it in his sleep. Just
Get out of here.
I'm telling you, literally, in his sleep, just. And we were like, Darian, like, and he was, I don't know how old he was, but he was young.
Yeah.
He was young, you know, so it's in it. It's in him. That seed, it's that talent, that gift, it's in him.
Wow.
Yeah, I can attest, yeah.
So what else do you want to share with the world while you're on the podcast in reference to letting them know a little bit more about who you are? And and what it is, because in your bio, your little bio that you sent us,
That's it.
you talked about getting that degree of
Nursing.
nursing.
Yes,
So
inspired.
talk to us a little bit about what so inspires you to want to pursue that as part of the educational part of what we do. You know,
Because all my life, I guess I could have hung out with like my cousins and stuff, but my mom had me like with the older women. I was with like the prayer band.
Wow.
So the prayer band, they get together. It's not really a social group, but it is.
It is a social group.
They come and they pray and they eat.
Wow.
It's a good time.
Okay.
It's a lot of wisdom. So at my church, they would clean people's homes when they needed. If your wife had a surgery, they would make it easier for you and your wife.
Wow.
So if you worked,
This is true.
everybody took the night to cook meals and make sure your house was clean, your clothes are folded. So
Wow.
that kind of grew. So of course I have the gift of helps. I'm not really good talking about myself, but I have the good gift of helps. I don't mind helping. It just come naturally. Even when I was married, it was like, why don't you just sit down? I don't know how. I mean,
She really does.
I don't.
Neither does her children.
I mean,
it's
so nursing. I would just love to be hands-on. I think because the Spirit of God lives within me. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be rolling around the hospital like a chaplain, but I do think even in COVID, I would just be so upset, because people were dying alone, and I would just want to be there, singing to them, just
That's awesome.
be there and just sing, at least even though when people are in comas, the spirit man in the ears, they can still hear.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to be a nurse. Oddly enough, I was a very grossed out kind of person, but Grey's Anatomy definitely fuels my passion.
Okay.
But now I want to cook. I cook, and I didn't really want to do it full time because my dad's a chef.
Okay.
My mom's a great cook.
Yeah.
My whole family, I come from a family of cooks.
Yes.
So it's
She
but
bakes too.
I just naturally can do it, and it's so much. It's
Wow.
peaceful when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's peaceful. So it's I want to be a nurse. And I'm gonna do that because I want to I want to be a nurse, but I also want to cook.
Okay.
So, because I just like to
Cooking
bring a
nurse.
smile to people's
Go
faces.
for it.
That's everybody needs somebody that makes them feel good.
So I got a
Absolutely.
question because I know the listening audience wants to know.
Oh.
So when you're in the kitchen and you're cooking,
No.
are you also singing?
Well, the music is playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The music,
Yes.
if I'm not on the phone, the music is playing. Yeah. So I
No, but are you
Yeah.
singing?
Yeah.
And then, because you said you got 3 gifted and talented children, are they singing along with
Oh no,
you?
they gotta get out my kitchen. When
They
I
gotta get out your kitchen. They
The kitchen and laundry are like my spaces.
Oh, that's your space?
That's laundry and
Man,
cooking.
just think about if you would have created MySpace before MySpace. Where you be today. But that's cool. I mean,
But I'm learning to bring them in because they can probably learn to cook.
Absolutely.
I
Come on
just
now.
have to share it.
wow.
Come on now. You got a chef and 2 chefs, and you know you have a daughter. So I tell her all the time, you know, hey, let
So
her cook.
at the church's cookout in the summer, prior to COVID, were you like cooking or were you singing? Which one was you? What were you doing? Or were you doing both?
Serving and cooking.
Serving and cooking,
Yeah.
but no singing?
No.
Come on, now I know. Listen,
No,
I know
at cookouts and stuff, we
Yeah,
have
no,
fun.
yeah,
We play
yeah,
ball,
no,
we
yeah,
laugh.
no.
You know, we.
Yeah.
but no singing.
No,
No.
not at cookouts.
No.
Listen,
They know I can sing. I mean, the pastor always
Wait,
wanted I
can you
would have sung.
sing or can you sing?
I just think I can sing.
Okay.
I think I can sing. That's it.
She can sing.
Lady Shareen
and
has
she
been holding the
thinks-
secret because Lady Shareen got a little bit of note in her
Oh,
too.
y'all,
But yeah. Go ahead, talk about it. Talk about it.
She's usually in the live. If you watch our church live, you always hear Shareen in the not the background, but right here ad libbing. So she definitely had the voice.
So you think you could encourage her to maybe
No.
throw us a note tonight?
No.
Shareen,
Listen, I am a background person.
Oh, you're the background person.
with good
I-
ad libs.
I-
With good ad.
I am listen.
But you saying
Background
that when
is
she's
my-
taking,
is
she's
my
also
thing.
singing.
I'm sure they hear her when she's.
You think they hear? Ask the world, do they hear it?
Yeah, they hear her. They hear her.
Okay.
Listen, I'm a good background. I don't. Yeah, no. Just let me stay
it behind the camera.
Well, if you ask
Let
me
me
to
stay behind.
hold a note, I will write it and I will hold it. If you ask me to play a note on the keyboard, because I'm actually, as you talked about going back to school and getting that degree in nursing, both Shareen and Lady Shareen and myself, we went back to school later on in life.
Right.
After
Yeah.
we had finished
Mm-hmm.
our high school and then we went on to college. Lady Shareen spoke about that before, about education as being vital for her growth and for her children's
Yeah.
growth.
Absolutely.
And she's been fortunate enough that I know her son graduated from college
he graduated
this
last year.
Yeah, he kind of got cheated
Yeah, he
with a
got
lot
real-
of the
yeah, he
other
got cheated,
COVID
yeah, 'cause of
individuals
COVID,
because they didn't
yeah.
have a graduation.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that happens for individuals, and I hope that with COVID being on the downswing, hopefully that a lot of the kids get to experience actually walking
Yeah.
across the
Yeah.
stage,
Yeah.
whether it's on a college level,
Right.
elementary level,
Yeah.
8th grade level,
Yeah.
high school level, because that is so important
It
with just
is.
your development that you can say that you have reached
That's right.
the top of the mountain.
Yeah, it makes them feel good too.
You
That I've
got that
accomplished
degree
this,
or
yeah.
that certificate or that certification,
Absolutely.
because when you have it, can't nobody take it away from
Nobody,
you.
right.
In education, a lot of times when you get involved, you're like, I just want this to be over with.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like in
That's
life,
true.
you say, I just wonder if I quit. Would anybody care? Well,
Right.
I looked at it as several ways. If you quit, you still won't have no student loans that you got. And if you quit when you go and you try to get a job, it was hard enough when I graduated from college to go out and get a job.
Right.
Because the first thing they say is, now you have your degree,
That's right.
but you don't have any experience.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
That's
but it
hard.
sounds like you have a whole lot of experience in a
think
whole
so?
lot of things.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She does.
And in doing all of those things that you want to do and all those things that you do, we really wanted to just bring you on and let the world know that, no matter how many obstacles you have in front of you, you gotta forge forward, because not only is your community looking at you, and you talked about all those queens, that you were going around and was on that prayer bus?
Yeah.
Or that prayer van or that prayer car, whatever you want to call it. And you was going out and helping people out. Those queens were setting an example for you to
that's
follow.
right. Yeah, it's true.
So you didn't get here but by chance.
Mm-hmm.
You got here by faith, and you got here because there was somebody above you pushing you and encouraging you that no matter what the obstacles are, that you can really, really do whatever you want to do. Shareen and I talk about this a lot because, before the podcast, Shareen and I would talk once a month during COVID because she's like, B, when we going to get started? I'm like, we're going to get started next week. Then next week became next month, and then next month became 5 months, and then we was a year out. But now we podcasting. Go ahead, Lady Shareen, tell them about it.
Yes, it was a journey. It was a journey. I'll take it back a little bit. So
Yeah.
I actually used to work for Brian.
Yes.
Wow.
And I found out through my cousin Tisha and Raymond. And he said, he's looking for somebody, so call him. And I was actually in school. I think I was at Union County actually, Union County.
Union County
And part time. And I'm like, I can't do full time because I'm in school. And so he said, okay. He said, felt the application. So he was real professional with it. In his home office, but he was professional, very professional, seriously. So I came, filled out the application. And he said, okay. He said, I need to talk to your references. And I said, okay, no problem. I put down some people at the police department where I used to work for 10 years. And he talked to them, and they said, yeah, hire her. She's the best. So that's how we got started.
Yeah. As you have trials and tribulations, we've had trials and tribulations. But one of the things that you talked about was that family.
Yeah.
Shareen is my co-host. We are co-hosts to each other, but we are like family.
Yeah. Right.
I know her son better than I know her daughters, but I know her son very well. Actually, how the village raises up is that I said, I need another person. Do you think your son right here ain't working? He can come over and help me out and do a couple of things. She said, I don't know. I'll ask him.
Sounds like her.
So, you are family. We always like for individuals that are close to us to come in and talk about their experiences because your experiences are unique to you, but they're not unique to the whole world.
That's right.
We share a common thread. We have to eat, we have to sleep, and we have to do a couple other things just being a human being. We have to breathe. And by you coming in here, you're going to touch somebody out there that doesn't know that if they just persevere and push through it,
That's right.
they too can overcome whatever challenges they're having,
That's true.
whatever doubts that they may have, whatever concerns that they may have. And this is not the end of the podcast. This is really, we're just going in a little bit more. And I think maybe, what do you think, lady? Should we ask her again? One more time? One more time? Yeah. We want the world to know that you exist.
Yes.
Listen, the bottom line is that if you bless individuals to be exposed to other things that they're
That's
not
right.
exposed
Absolutely.
to, you too receive the blessing.
That's right.
And I'm truly blessed to have you here because we were talking about before we went on the podcast. Now you remember when I used to be at your church and I was videotaping, and you were a little baby back then.
And I don't even remember that.
Yeah, and you talked about how I had a tripod with wheels on it.
Wheels on it, yeah.
Wow.
Well, it sounds like you have heels with wheels on it because you're doing a lot of things out there.
Not too much. I need to do more.
And I don't know if,
Go ahead.
she didn't speak about it, but she's also a great cake baker.
What?
Not box, but scratch. Scratch.
Oh, you didn't think we was going to accept all the things that you do? That's what this podcast is about. So, I guess when we have our 1 year anniversary doing the podcast, we can expect a cake.
Oh yeah.
Hint.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And listen, you ain't got to wait when we get 3 months. You could do every 3 months.
Listen, it ain't nothing.
One of the things that we will do, and this is what Lady Shareen and I agree on, is that we're going to do everything in our power to support
Love it.
giving exposure to businesses out
Absolutely.
there. but not only exposure.
Right.
If we can help purchase a product from you, you know, we'll do that. But in return, we're gonna want the village to feed us too.
Yeah.
Because everything you see here, and you don't even see all of the cameras. We have our assistant in the background. He's getting a stipend. Ronnie's getting a stipend, and he corrected me the other day. I told him he was a certain age. He says, "No, I'm 1 more year older than that." I said, "Okay, I'm sorry. I stand corrected." But he's learning a lot of the stuff behind the scenes, and one day he might be in front of the camera doing what we do.
That's right.
You know, this is something that this podcast is really weird because, I mean, I run a landscaping business, and that's what I do. I do a few other things like DJing and stuff.
He does
like
a
that.
lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He does a lot.
But the primary thing is landscaping. And when Lady Shareen came in to work for me, it was just heaven sent because I was in need of getting somebody in the office so I could get out on the road.
Yeah.
So you're talking about blessings. You know what I'm saying? And our relationship became more than just employer to employee. It became to a point where now we're expanding our horizons. Lady Shareen does a lot of things also.
But you also pour into her with your experience,
Right.
with her profession. So it's like,
Absolutely.
it's a give and take. That's good.
Yeah.
And it's good to have people of integrity.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Well, it took a little time, you know, but I can attest to you out there in watching us that the only way that you can overcome your shortcomings is that you keep pushing.
Yeah.
That's right.
You have to keep pushing.
Gotta
You
keep
can't
pushing.
say, woe is me, and think that somebody's gonna just come and give you something. Now that could happen. It could happen.
It could happen.
Yeah. But we understand that through our works, we shall receive the blessing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you spoke a lot about what your church family has been to you, and has meant for you, and has meant for your kids, and has meant for just your overall environment.
That's right.
So we want to encourage individuals to get involved in whatever they need to get involved in,
That's right.
whether it be a church family, whether it be a community service program,
Yeah.
whether it be belonging to an organization like myself,
Yeah.
Blue
Or
Fire
more
Social
of your
Fellowship.
family.
You know,
Yeah.
where I go out and I do things in the community to help the community.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day when one of the former mayors from Plainfield actually was giving money away to social service groups. And I remember y'all church going out there and cleaning up parking lots and collecting all debris and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they got money.
I do remember that.
Excuse me, they got money.
Yeah.
So there are ways out there, and we expect, our listening audience, this is what we expect from you. We expect that you are going to become an engine of change.
Yeah.
You are an engine of change.
Absolutely.
You know, you're a phenomenal woman. You're out there doing it.
Yeah.
You're not taking no for an answer.
That's right.
Yeah. Lady Shareen, you want to
Yeah.
just chime in for a minute?
Sure,
Yeah.
why not?
Let's do it. Come on.
Come on, Brian. So, Brian, he said a lot, and Malinda chimed in. I've learned a lot from Brian. I believe that when you connect with someone, that God has put that person in your path. And, with Brian, he does photography. He does videography, and so he told me, he said, I don't want to do it no more. And I'm like, well, you should, He's like, no, I want to do landscaping. So I said, okay, but I've learned a lot from him. And, we've worked together a lot. He actually is the one who asked me to help with the funerals. That's how I got started with that, and he's been very, very helpful, doing the football and the basketball games.
Wow.
I fill in when he's not there, so he's, like he said, we have gotten close, as a family. I'm cool with his brother. I'm cool with his wife. Let me say that again. I'm cool with his wife.
Right.
And she understands that, that I have that line drawn. I don't go over that line. And that's something I don't do.
Right.
So and she sees that, so she doesn't mind us, working. Sometimes I'm at their house. As a matter of fact, let me back up.
Go ahead.
I used to work out of their home, and I would be the only one there. So, he trusted me to be in his home. His
By herself.
wife trusted me to be in their home.
Mhm.
So that's why I worked. I worked in his home office. So that speaks a lot, about who we are and how we connected, and the people that he talked to before I even came in and say, how is she, what's up, and that's how we connected, but I make sure that that line is there, I don't cross that line, and it's funny because, I think, again, God, he prepares the way,
Yep.
because before I came to Brian to work for him, I was actually working at the police department for about 10 years.
Wow.
For about 10 years working at the police department. So I worked around a lot of men.
Wow.
So God was already preparing me, and again, I didn't step those boundaries. A lot of them were married, some were single, but I just didn't overstep those boundaries. God was just getting me prepared, for where I needed to go, and it's been an awesome thing. So, working with Brian has really, really opened up doors, and
Well,
he wanted to do this podcast, so here we are
yeah, I mean,
on this podcast.
listen, realistically, you understand.
Yeah.
So we're going to use an analogy. When you bake a cake and you bake a cake from scratch, you don't just wake up one morning and go down there and start throwing things together. You got to kind of have a plan.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your making cakes or cupcakes or whatever. Tell us a little bit. Where does that enjoyment come from, and what does it end up as? I mean, is it a designer cake? Is it a two-tier cake, or is it pound cake? What is it? Talk a little bit about that.
I first learned, I was pregnant with maybe my second son or just had him, and I just wanted to make a pound cake. So my mom gave me her mother and mother's recipe.
Wow.
So okay, I made the first cake, and of course, my mother and my aunt Malinda are, if they say it's good, then it's good.
It's good.
So I made cake, took it. My mother tasted it. I took it to Aunt Malinda, and she was very impressed. Then my uncles, my uncle John he's it. Like, he just is like, oh man.
So Uncle John Prince is still on
Yeah,
it?
Uncle
It's
John
golden?
and Uncle Steven,
Yeah.
Wow.
and my mother-in-law too.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then from there, it just grew. So I was making pound cakes like every day. Like, hey, somebody
Literally,
died
every
in
day.
church.
I never had one of your pound cakes.
I started selling started selling whole pound cakes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then I learned the layer cake recipe. That was a piece of cake. And then I learned to tweak it. I'm not in the designer stages yet.
Right.
But
It's coming.
I've learned to make like homemade chocolate frosting. I've learned to make like a pineapple buttercream, like a
Wow.
coconut pineapple cake.
I love the lemon.
That's their favorite, the lemon
Yeah.
glazed pineapple
Yes.
cake. I've learned to make I just last week tried my hand at a cheesecake. I tried bread pudding. I haven't mastered it. I've mastered it a certain way, but that's not the way my mom and Aunt Malinda likes it. So we'll try it again.
Okay, but
Yeah.
now, with all that being said, since we are about promotion,
That's it. Oh,
we are about
I
promotion.
keep telling her, listen.
How are we
I'm
going
like,
to get those listening
keep
audience
telling
to
her
find
that,
her
yeah.
so that they can try some of this pound
But wait a
cake?
minute, I keep telling her, I said,
Call me.
listen, you need to be in the business of that. I said, even if you sell your cakes inside of a restaurant, and you bake them and let them sell them, they're good. I'm trying to get her.
Well, listen, I tell people this all the time. I love my wife. No doubt, I love my wife to death. But when people come to my house, I'll be like, taste this juice my wife made.
He didn't bring me no juice yet.
Yeah. I say, taste it. And they taste it. They be like, this is some good juice. I'm going to share the story. I think I shared it before. I think I did in one of our previous podcasts. This is our third podcast, y'all out there. This is our third podcast. So in next week will be our fourth podcast. We
They
will
were
be
testers.
1 month old. The guy loved the juice, and he was working in my house, doing some work in the house. And I could do that stuff too, but that's just one of the next growth things I might end up doing after becoming an author, because I want to do that too.
Love it.
Yeah. So I gave it to him. He went to the store that night looking for that juice in that Tropicana bottle, thinking that we bought it from the store and that my wife couldn't make the juice that good. And he came back the next time he came to work and he said, I went everywhere looking for that juice. I said, you can't find that juice. So guess what? Them cakes that you making, you need to have them somewhere.
Okay.
So now we're gonna put you on the spot.
Brian, where's my juice?
You're gonna get it. I'll bring it next time I come. Do you want the lemonade or do you want the iced tea?
How about both?
Okay, how about I put them together?
Lemonade.
You
I don't think her lemonade is better than mine.
Okay, well, listen. We're not going to do the Pepsi challenge here.
Wait, hold on. That's another thing.
She does make good lemonade.
Oh, man.
So now, you know,
she just does it all.
that's a competition now.
Okay.
There's room for everybody.
My wife always says that there's customers for everything.
That's
That's
right.
right.
But
It's true.
don't even go there because you're trying to evade what I'm trying to
really
do.
was.
I'm trying to make you public and you trying to go private.
That's just what I prefer.
Okay, well,
she
you know,
got to come
they
out.
talked about the kingdom and receiving the riches from above. How are you going to receive the riches? Is every time somebody come to you, you're the Oscar, and you ostrich, and then you got your head in the sand.
I have to get out of my own way. That's my thing for this
Okay,
year.
but we're gonna help.
Okay.
So now, if somebody wants to order cake, do you have an email?
Yes.
If somebody wants to book you for entertainment, for you to come out and bless them with the spirit of song, how do they do that?
Yeah, how do they find
My
you?
email is Malinda Royal, Malinda Royal ROYAL @gmail.com. I'm not on Facebook. There is an account, but that's not mine anymore.
That's right.
Or I'm on Instagram.
You're on Instagram, so how did they hit you
I
up?
think it's LynnRoyal_3.
Okay, but if by some chance that is wrong, don't worry about it. We'll have her back. I promise you we'll have her back.
Contact
How
me
do
as well.
they?
My phone number?
No, we ain't doing that.
Oh.
No, we ain't giving your phone number. We don't want strange people calling you. But what we do want them to do, if they want to hit you, they can hit you on your email.
Yes.
Give them
Yeah.
your email one more time.
Malinda,
Slow down.
Malinda, Royal, ROYAL @gmail.com.
All right. Now, in addition to that, we have individuals inside of our camp that can help you with a small website if you want to go public.
Okay.
And I'm telling you that out of everything I've ever learned in life, this is to the listening audience, there is nothing more self-rewarding than when you work for yourself.
Yes.
This is true.
Now, it comes with all of the headaches.
That's right.
It's going to be like that TV commercial. You have your first order, you have 50 orders, you have 100 orders, you have 5,000 orders. How the heck are you going to build the capacity? But if your cake is as good as it says it is, then you have to put it out there.
That's
You
right.
have no other choice.
That's right. Put it out there. 'Cause
If your
they're
juice is as good as you say it is, make some small samples, give them out, do the taste test, let people sample it. If they like it, say, listen, I can bring you a bottle on Friday. I'm not going to charge you a whole lot of money for the first one. Taste it. This one's free. The next one you're going to pay something on. Empowerment and self-reliance is the key in this economy
Right.
today. You can't wait for that job to give you that raise that you
Right.
say you're worth.
That's right.
Because they're going to pay you what they're going to pay you. So one of the things that I learned is that if you want to get paid, you got to get paid.
That's right.
I
Absolutely.
also sell Mary Kay too.
Oh, see?
And you sell Mary Kay. I told y'all she's a phenomenal woman.
www.marykay/mroyal100.
Yeah.
Wait, now, see, people have their pens and their paper, but you said that so fast, that was like scribbling. Slow it down.
www.marykay.com/mroyal100.
Okay. And you do
All right,
well with
now.
that, I take it.
I just started,
Okay.
so I'm doing well. To be
That's right.
started, just started.
Okay, okay.
But see how you see that energy that you
Right.
gave on that Mary Kay?
Because it's not a fix.
Hey, imagine the cakes. And I don't have nothing against Mary Kay. I don't
Right,
believe
right.
it. But if you became that entrepreneur
Right.
that is
That's right.
already inside of you, not only are you're gonna benefit,
Right.
but your
That's right.
kids are gonna benefit.
Yeah.
That's right.
And they're gonna understand when they get to be a certain age, because Lady Shereen and I already talked about this. Our fathers, in their roundabout way, are entrepreneurs. They've been entrepreneurs all their life.
Right.
Yeah.
My father hustled after working 2 jobs. He would
Yeah.
go out and he would still do other things, clean the church,
Yeah.
do windows for people. He used to take my older brothers and have ladders on top of his station wagon. People wonder why we had the station wagon. It's not because we had 7 kids, because he had ladders on top of the station wagon. And he was going to people's houses at the church
Yeah.
or whatever, and he was doing their windows to make that extra money.
Mm-hmm.
You got 3 young children that one day are going to aspire to go on to college.
Yeah.
I got a nephew that's getting ready to go on to college. College just ain't no joke now.
No, it's a lot of
They
money.
want to go to like Duke, and
That's right. It's a lot of
he wants to go to Duke and UCLA. The other wants to go to Berkeley,
Okay, so you
Okay.
got some homework for me.
Morgan
Yeah.
State. Oof.
You got to go home tonight,
Yeah.
Google how much it costs to go to one of those
Ooh,
schools.
it's like $45,000 a year.
Oh, it sounds like a lot of cakes on
Yeah.
your future. She didn't know where I was going with that lady shit.
I knew where you were going. I knew where you were going.
A lot of kicks on.
So, we're gonna probably get ready to close in a few minutes. So I want Lady Shereen to jump back in, ask you any closing questions. But I'm going to, as Lady Shereen started, she's gonna end the podcast tonight. And before you go out, you're gonna hit us with just something simple. Something simple. I don't care if Mary had a little lamb or whatever. Just hit them with something simple. But if they want to get in contact with you again, it's very important that as we do this podcast, that we expose people to you,
Right.
That's right.
and that you expose us to the
I
people that
appreciate
you're
that.
exposed to.
Right.
Because in that net, there's an opportunity for us all to grow,
That's right.
for us all to eat. That's the way it was designed.
That's right.
He didn't put us on this earth for us to be an island. No man is an island.
Right.
So I've said what I needed to say. I really, really, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate that you took time out of your busy schedule. Because I know you got some hungry kids at home that they're going to be waiting for you to come in and give them what they need to get, whether it's dinner, snack, whatever. But I can tell that I know that you love your children.
Absolutely.
And I know that you love yourself. And I know that you believe. And that's all I can ask for. When somebody comes on our podcast, that they give out that energy that we're about. Because
Yeah,
we're about
that's right.
positive energy.
Yeah.
If nothing else, you will find that this podcast, we don't dwell on the negative.
That's right.
We dwell on the positive. And in that positive light,
Yes.
we know that individuals will learn to, or know to, or find a way to get out of whatever predicament they're in, whatever hardship they have.
That's
They
right.
talk about that a lot when you go to church. They
Yeah.
talk about that you got to know that you have gifts.
Yes.
Use those gifts. Use the gift
Yeah,
to
That's
cook.
right. That's right.
Use that gift to sing.
That's right.
Use that good gift to make that
Absolutely.
lemonade. Use that gift to inspire your children. Because one day you're going to be older and your children, you know, from other cultures, like I'm just going to use this. Individuals, when I go on their property and I'm landscaping, and I ask them, why do they have so many of their family members living in one house, but they live in this big house?
Right.
They say to me, you know, it's our obligation in the Indian culture for our children to take care of us up until we're like 31 years of age.
Right.
But then when we get 31, it's time for us to bring our parents back into the fold
Yeah.
and for us to take care of them.
Absolutely.
That's what happened in Africa.
Yeah.
The elderly always took care of the young, then the young end up taking
That's
care of the
right.
elderly. And they gave the elderly the respect
That's right.
of kings and queens and never thought about disrespecting the elderly.
That's right.
And that's something that we have kind of lost in what we do in the black community today. But overall, I know that it's still there.
Right.
That's right.
Because you already shared that with us
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah.
There was a bunch of queens and kings,
Yeah.
uncles, cousins,
That's
nephews, aunts,
That's it.
grandma,
Yeah, that
that was
village.
standing by you,
Yeah,
that
village.
village that
Village.
pushed you to be who you are today.
That's right.
And I'm gonna say that you're a phenomenal woman. Keep doing what you're
Absolutely.
doing.
Absolutely.
Lady Shereen,
Yes, I totally agree with that. So, you know, is there anything else, you know, that you are aspiring to work on, or, you know, even with your children? You know, I know we interject a lot, you know, and say, you know, you guys are great. You need to, you know, start some different projects.
Yeah.
So is there anything, you know, you're working on, I always say she need to get in the studio and start recording.
I do. I would like to start writing songs. I think people say it, but no excuses. I think life now has settled down a bit where
Wow.
life now makes sense. Like, when you look at what you've been through, like you're like, whoa, this is a lot. It makes sense now. Because before, for me, it was just content. Like, how do you write when your mind is so... Now my mind is a little clear. Like, I can write. And I just want to tell somebody else. Like, I just want them to know. And I also, I get stuck because I don't... When you tell your story, I always say, especially to my best friend, I say, my intent and someone else's perception,
Right.
it's never the same.
That's right.
So I would get stuck on my intent to share hello from the other side.
Okay.
But if you want to hear a negative story, that's just what you want to hear. And if that's just what you want to hear, I can't help that.
Right.
But hopefully my negatives that turn into a positive can help change your perception to get out of your own way
Right.
and not let what you've gone through to almost paralyze
Right.
your vision. You have to have vision
That's right.
to where you need to go.
Absolutely.
Lady Sharon, I
Absolutely.
just gotta say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of, I at one point had a niece that was living with me, and I spoke with the head of the after school program, and he said to me something that is so profound to me that even to this day it sticks with me. And one of the things that he said is that in order to change a habit, it takes 3 months of consistent persistence to overcome resistance.
Yes.
And
I've
if
heard
you
of that.
plug in to writing songs,
That's
and you
right.
practice that every morning. I don't care if you take 5 minutes out
That's
of the
right.
morning. As soon as you get out of bending those knees
That's right.
and doing what you do,
Yes.
take 5 minutes and say, I'm going to write for 5
Yep.
minutes.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, I'm saying I'm going to write a book, and I haven't written my first. I know I started, but I haven't consistently wrote. So in order for you to do whatever you want to change,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you have to practice
Yep.
that change.
And that's what I'm saying.
You
Like
get started.
the
too.
little
You get started.
passages, the little inserts, they can now come together.
That's right.
Like all the little things in the book, they can come together. If you piece it all together, this day, this month, that year,
Right.
it all makes sense.
All right, Lady
That's
Shareen,
it, that's
you
it.
want to
So,
give the
one
public,
more?
before you finish, can you just give the public where they can go and find our podcast on the Wix?
Sure.
Give that to them before they leave, before we leave tonight, so that they go. It'll be up later on tonight. For those that are on Facebook Live, we're going to have this broadcast on our social media. We are going to develop like pages and Cash App pages,
Love
because
it.
in order to continue this, we do need contributions, and we're not asking for a lot, but if you
Right.
subscribe, maybe we'll have a $5 or $10 fee. We haven't figured that out yet,
Right.
just so that we can keep the lights on, the heat on, and allow us to continue to do and bring you the best technology we can. So, Lady Shareen, I'm gonna close. I ain't saying another word.
You ain't
It's
saying
all
another
yours. But you're gonna have her sing before she leaves.
I am.
Okay.
But, before that, I just want Malinda to, encourage other young women around your age who are single parents, and just encourage them, because there's so much suicide, there's so much, wanting to just give in, and it's a lot. So, if you could just encourage them, and then you could take us out.
Okay. It's not always as bad as it seems.
Wow.
When you're in the thick of it, when that water is rising and it's getting, past your neck, sometimes it is as bad as it seems. But sometimes, when you can't, my mother preached a message and she said, when you come to the end of yourself, then there's God.
Right.
I loved it,
Yeah.
but in my mind, I don't want to always come to the end of myself.
Right.
I want to come to God, because in this life, we can rely on anything else,
That's right.
but nothing sustains us, nothing keeps us but God. And I just want you to know, you can make it. If for no other reason, if your children are your only driving force, and as a single mom, those kids, sometimes you don't even want them to be the driving force, because you just want to be. You want to know who you are outside of being a mom and being so required to be there for other people. But if nothing else can drive you, those children and your investment in those children and whatever you putting them, it's like a seed. It's gonna come back,
Right.
and it's not gonna be in vain. So please be careful. I mean, not be careful, also be careful, but be encouraged. You're not alone.
That's right.
And your story and your situation, it
That's
may
right.
seem like it's for you, but when you get out of that and it's like hello
right.
from the other side, you're going to encounter interactions with other people
That's right.
that you're going to be able to share your story with,
Yes.
and you're going to see how impactful what you downplayed, how big it was to somebody else, and you're
Wow.
going to change someone else's life. So be
That's
encouraged, because you can make it. It's an every day you have to renew your mind and renew your thinking. I'm all about what you can have, what you think, and you can have what you say.
That's right.
So be careful what you think, and be careful what you say,
That's right.
because words have power.
Yes.
Don't let nobody tell you it doesn't. If you say you're going to be a millionaire, you got to do the work.
Yes.
If you say you want to own a business, you have to do the work. Faith without works is
Right.
dead. God has already done his part,
Yes.
but the manifestation only comes when you do your part.
That's right.
So be encouraged. Even as a single mom, if this pandemic has not shown us anything is possible.
That's right. Absolutely.
So be encouraged.
Yes.
I love you guys. Thank you for the opportunity.
Hey,
Thank you for-
high five.
Thank you for coming.
This definitely put me on my comfort zone, but thank you. It put a lot of things in perspective. Am I going to say
Awesome,
that?
awesome. Yeah. So I just want to say these last things too. We are going to be our website for we're on Wix, but our website is going to be bcproductionseee.com. And so this episode will be up. We'll put it up there tonight. So you can go up there later on tonight and check it out. And again, thank you. It's like a couple of cameras, so sorry if we wasn't actually looking at this one, which is Facebook Live. I'm sorry. So we thank you for watching tonight. Like I said before, just if you can share, put up the hearts. Give us some feedback, please. Give us some feedback. That's what it's all about. I'm going to be reaching out to people to see if you want to come on. And again, we're going to be doing Zoom, so it's not like, but she felt comfortable because we're always together anyway to come in, so that's why she's here. So, if you don't want to, that's fine. We could do Zoom. So I will be reaching out to certain people, but, if you definitely know that you want to be here, please let us know. You can contact me. You can, I'll connect you to Brian some kind of way, but yeah, you can contact me.
And his hat.
Yeah, he's not losing the hats. He said he's gonna always wear his hat. So if that's one of your comments, I'll let you know now. He wants his hat.
It's gonna stay.
That's
So
it.
again, thank you so much. If you were watching or if you catch this later on a rewind, so I'm going to talk to this camera as well. Thank you for watching our podcast. Because we'll be up in certain places. So thank you very much. And we're going to turn it back over to Malinda so she can take us out.
Okay. So I'm here today because God kept me.
Yes.
I'm alive today only because of His grace. Oh, He kept me. God kept me.
Yes.
He kept me, so I wouldn't let go. I almost gave up. I felt like I just couldn't take life anymore. My problems weighed me down. Depression had me bound. But God kept me.
Yes.
Oh, He kept me. He kept me. So I wouldn't let go. So we're here today because God kept us. You're alive today only because of His grace.
Yes.
God is keeping you. Oh, God has kept us. God kept me, so I wouldn't let go.
Awesome. Thank you. So 4E Podcast, and we'll be back again next Monday. Woo!
Fade to black.